My bad. Hi. Um, it's been a couple of weeks. Well, let me pull up chat here. Oh no, it is already pulled up. We'll just activity feed then. All right. Oh, this is also wrong. It's been a while. It's been 2 weeks since I last. Yeah, it's been a weird week. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since last time we've had this. There hasn't been. All I haven't been doing it really is working on this app. I actually need to post this to GitHub. Um, I just yeah, just trying to figure out how to make this stuff work. So been working on like the core programming features. Been doing a bit of the Figma stuff here and there, and um, yeah, just I got a bunch of stuff I got to clear out, organize. It's been a chaotic. I feel like it's been a chaotic week. There are 2 weeks. Yeah, last week I planned on stream, but uh, it seems like I'm hitting like a repetition of like every 2 weeks. Um, so yeah, I've been doing that. There is some other stuff I want to do with the stream, but right now we're just kind of doing this like log so that you know have some um tracking of what I am doing on my like for this app and keep me honest. I'm easily distracted for like I can get like I can do something and it's like, oh, I did this huge like I built the framework and like all the structure around it, and now I'm bored because I completed it and move on to the next thing. So hopefully I can stay where I am right. Oh, I just changed something. Okay. Broke something there for SL file was unchanged and I broke it. But I do have some stuff to stream. I might put away a day to focus on that kind of stuff. But right now, I will be on vacation. It is quite literally my first vacation in like 5 years. Um, Not really, but I actually took the time off and stuff. Usually, I kind of just work through that kind of stuff. So I am on vacation on next weekend, so that's gonna be fun. So I won't be able to stream. I get back on that Monday, and usually our streams are on Sundays. But I'll keep working on this app and figure out how to work stuff. But I made a lot of progress. I'll kind of actually I should add something. This list I need. I think it's this bad list in general. I gotta figure out what to do other than this list. How do you? I think a future development would be a good idea, like good way to explain it. Um, but yeah. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So let's actually go to the Figma stuff first. So as you can see, this is not fairly new. It's pretty much the same, but I had this huge overlay and component thing. And you can probably see here that I added a couple more pages. So I did a bit more development on. I moved all the like design system stuff onto its own page. I also ran into the paywall for the first time on Figma because the idea is there's nothing in this finance app. So like the idea is we're creating like a design system more like material, right? Where we have all the like icons and all that fun stuff right in this page, this right here. And then so you design the structural components of it. And then the only difference between each app component wise is like style. Like I'm using the same Capuchin color system. So the only changes between app is accent color, and with the color system, I'm using the Fluency icons by Windows, or like a Fluency inspired. Actually, I can show you. They also changed this. They moved the bar down here, and that's really annoying. You have to go here. But so every time I go into A icons, I get this like Windows 11 filled. This is like the filled Fluency kind of thing, where it has like cool stuff here. So I can search like nature, and I get a bunch of nature stuff, right? So this is like I really like this, but I'm not willing to pay for it. So I'm pulling in the PNGs and just working with that. You know, there are only so much color that it has to deal with. So in the code, let me show you the Google Chrome stuff. So I am like, I haven't imported the icon, so I think once we get this starting to design out, I want to get this to the point where like we move these. I want to figure out how to move like have the PNGs on the font like into a font file and do it that way. I think it'll just load faster and it'll be just better overall. But I have it so it changes color even though it's a PNG. There's just basically this color PNG, right? So yeah, and the way I am doing this, where's my icon? I am basically changing the saturation and brightness, contrast, hue, and there's a calculator that I do this with. It is I think it's this one. No. This one, the filter. So I basically will say 58938. And by doing that, I get what I want. All right, so this is for 598 hex code. I get this filter property, which allows me to change it to that like a black image to that color. I think I'm importing a black image. If I go over here, go to assets icon. Yeah, so this one's a black image. I think in the future they won't be. I think they'll be the default color, so you're not running this towards all icons. Oh, but the default color changes. So I can't show you here, but there's also also going to do the dark mode and light mode for the cappuccino stuff. So the latte and the mocha, which means the base color is different. I can do the accent color. That changes per each. I think I'll just stick with the black and change it for each one. I think it's all right. I don't think it computationally. We'll see how it works computationally. I don't think it's too crazy, and I'm hoping it's not too crazy computationally wise. That's why I wanted to do it like the same color, but it is what it is. I could also change it if there are light mode. Anyways, back to this. So I did some of the organization on the icons. So we have 4 different sizes of icons, so we know what the kind of icon sizes we're using. So we have the standard size, which is like the size I imported at, which is the 96 by 96 pixel icons. But the biggest icon sizes I use, and you can tell that it's a little like it's a little pixelated. I think it's fine overall. But the biggest pixel size, the biggest icon size I use, which is why I'm not too worried about like importing the SVG or whatever, right? Is 35 pixel by 35 pixel, which is a third of the original size. So yeah, I'm using this 35 by 35 here, and I'll just kind of add it to this list whenever I find a new icon that's not in this. These are components. So yeah, I'll add that. So this is the 25 pixel right here, which is the slightly smaller. This is my medium-sized icon. And then we have our small here, which is our 18. I typically don't have this. This is the 18 pixel icon right here. So it's not too crazy. I don't think it's too crazy of a small size. Any smaller, I think it's just too. It's not legible enough, and I want like if it's paired with any text smaller than this, I don't want it to be paired with that kind of text because it's any text that's smaller than 18 pixels. I think that is I think that's 24 point font. I don't know the font, but it's a 1.75 rem. So basically this is like your H6 header or whatever, right? That's kind of still a header size, but anything smaller I kind of want for like more either informational text or whatever. So I don't really want to pair icons with them. If I do, I kind of want to add some separation. So I think what we have size-wise is great. If we do need smaller, I have like 16 point. But I mean, you're talking like 2 pixels. But if we do need smaller, like 16, I can copy this and paste it over. It's not a huge deal. So yeah. So I started moving over the icon. This used to be a huge list of all the different kind of icons used for the head, but now if we go over to our task app, which I converted over to this new component, I just add a new property, which is, oh shoot, I don't think I converted this one over. Oh no, it's no, that's not it. Figma changed. Yeah, so this week Figma changed its entire design. I like it, but I was only just starting to learn how to use Figma, and it's getting annoying. Um, so it's kind of like I don't have that like mental map yet, and then they go and shift it on me. This used to be up there, and I wish that I could just like settings wise change it. Um, okay, here's the one I converted over. So I have this kind of like this. It's in this drop down, which isn't. I don't know. I was hoping I can like push it up, but it is what it is. So you can get rid of the icons, which is that display action toggle button, which will come in handy in one of the design system stuff. But you can also just kind of just turn this over. So this this should be the day view one, but you can do the back, which is I think the default. Just it's basically it gives you all the access to all the icons that are in that list. So every time you add a new icon, this list grows, which is kind of cool for the different like components. But anyways, yeah. So I converted that over, but also if we go over to design system, I started designing what I've been calling the shell of the app. This kind of like doesn't change from app to app. They're not like component pieces, but like this will be this should be loaded throughout each segment of the app. So we have like the mobile section, which has here, which we were seeing. This is what I'm designing around. It's like mobile first kind of design, just because I think it'll be like I want it as a mobile first app. Like you're going to be designed like you. That is kind of how we would like think about it, but also like we have our desktop here, which doesn't have this icon, but it still has this like settings icon, so it kind of shifts them out. It basically gets rid of it's like a flexbox, so it gets rid of like the action icon. And then we have this like cluster thing right here, and we'll go over that in the code because that's already implemented. Not exactly to the design, so there's still improvements to be made design wise on the app right now to the shell, but it's kind of like this. It takes like what the navigation and like this action icon. If this good example of the cluster is this, so like the day view would go to the week view would go to the month view, and then it'll go back to like or go back to what it's supposed to be. I think this icons need to change to sorry, I gotta stop touching my face. So yeah, and then I'm using Electron for the desktop app. So we have like these mobile controls right here. I might make this into a 25 just because it kind of like looks a little weird. But I'll continue to work on that. You have your tablet, which is a hybrid of like the mobile like style, because you know this desktop app has this like bar. Because you can grab it, pull it around, all that, and it's just kind of like something we're used to. It's like this. Oh, I didn't have it. It's kind of just like this bar right here. Something we're used to, and yeah, these icons are smaller up here too. So I'll just model it. Let's see if I can model it after this. I'll change the icon for this as well to that 2-panel icon, but it's kind of like this is kind of the feel I want for it. I don't have tabs, so I don't need this part here. But yeah, I want the page name to always be at the top. Same with this tablet right here. The settings as well. This will just go to a settings page that will have like a different view, because when we're in settings, we don't need this bottom bar right here. So you can decide between this bar or having this bar or not having this bar, or if it's a widget, because I want to have it so it can do display widgets on your app, it will just not have the navigation shell at all. And we'll get into that when we get into the code. But yeah, the component-wise, nothing's really changed. This used to be 2. I can move this over to 1, but we're not using this. We'll go over that in a second. Or after we go over the app. I'm not using it. I used to use it for this calendar, and I might still use it. Because it's really, like, I might use it here. Let's just drag it. Assets, assets. Yeah, so let's just import it here. Right, so we have this right here. And then we can change this to a plus. Is it add? Yeah, it's called add. So yeah, so it'll be something like that. There, your icon, floating button, a typical floating button icon thingamajig. So, yeah, looks good. And then, that's pretty much it. There hasn't been anything else I've been doing with the Figma designs. I think there's a little improvement that I can do there. So, yeah. Going into the code, this is where most of the work has been for this week. So I've designed it. So here's the shell.tx. I think it would be smarter to just kind of go from how. So this is the entry of the app, right? This main.tx file. This will import the index.c. Oh, actually, I can change this to. Let's see if I have anything. Yeah. So I've kind of like spaced out the @styles import. We're using rollup, so we can do that. And then, so we have imported all the styles that we want for the whole project, the index.scss. Right here, we're doing the same. We've, if we go to components under the cores directory and shell directory, it basically links to this file right here, the shell.tx. So there's 2 functions that we're grabbing from there. The define app data, which you can define like what the navigation, like the icons for the navigation, or what group, and we'll go over the groups in a second. What group we're part of, what page will it land on if you do click that icon? What is the label under it? So if it's like boards list, so you can have 4. I think actually it doesn't matter how much you have because it just iterates through this. So it'll just kind of like add this. It's basically trying to be like, what needs to go in this bar right here, right? So that's how we define that. That way, between different apps, when we build it, it builds to the different bar, and it will also link to this pages. We're doing like a folder file, a file system routing, which took so long to do. It took like a whole week to get this file system routing, which I probably could have done better, but I want it in a specific way. I only want it 1 layer deep. So anything that's in like the, let's close all these right here. Any TS TypeScript files that are only directly under pages are files that relate to like what does it do if the page isn't there, or like if we run into an error. I need to work on this a bit more. That's what I'm going to end up doing next. Or what if you go to the root file? So just if it was a domain, like what if you just went straight to the domain and not anything else? And like all the conditional pages kind of like surround it. So we have that under like this group, and then we have groups which are these like top levels. So alerts, boards, calendars, list. The other is where the settings kind of go in. This is my test page, which how I was testing all this like routing logic, and then widgets, which, you know, if you want to add a widget to your page, the idea is that we take a web view of like the app and just kind of like drop it into the widget. So it's just kind of showing what the website is showing, right? It allows for a little bit of flexibility and stuff, and there's a lot of work that's going to be revolved around that. So yeah, going back to the main.tsx, close that out. So yeah, so this is how we define the nav. This is in each group as those folders. We can define like what navigation is for yourself. So regular nav is, it'll show the bottom nav, these icons basically. The other, if it's a minimal, that will show just the top part right here. So it will show this part right here, and ignore this nav right here. And I believe, I don't even think that if there is an icon, it'll show it, but I don't even, if there is no icon, it kind of just like, we'll shift that over. And then we call init. What this init function is doing, now we get into the shell area, is basically setting up our routing. So it goes through all the files. I'm using rollup to like import all the files into a map in which I can iterate over. It will set up like, if we go into, let's go to our test. We'll do this index. Right, so it's just a component in each page that is exported into an object. So you add the title to what the page name is, basically is you define it by page, and then what's the element, which is always going to be page. This is something I was testing to be like, if there's like we can just do this. How scrolling is with different pages and all that fun stuff. Yeah. So that's how pages are operating, and we'll go over what these params are in a second. But so it sets up all that, and it kind of just adds it to different like data structures, and then eventually it will kind of push it to this right here, which is the create the React router like generator, basically, which then is provided into this route provider, and it sets up all the routing for the page. Part of this whole thing is like we kind of like force into like this, like we set up how the layout should look at the group level. So if you just go to, and it's going to error me for this, I'm pretty sure. But if we just go to that, it's just going to be like error. But yeah, and I think I need to set up how errors work on this too. But I need to go to the, I'm going to be right back, but we'll continue how layout works with this whole shenanigans. I wrote a lot of code, so we have a lot to go over, but I'm going to go check up on my dog real quick and do all that fun stuff. So I'll see you in a second. All right, I'm back. So I realized I had a good example of what I meant. Oh, my camera is really orange. Let me fix that. Okay, so right, so up here is like all the page management stuff. It's like dealing with the errors and what the first how it should load and all that fun stuff. So that's happening over here, right? And then we have the groups. This is the folder area. So this is layer one, basically, right? Layer one of our routing. From there is our pages. So this is our like basic entry page. So like our calendar for a month, our calendar for day, our calendar for week. So this is our static page layer. This is layer two, right? Layer three right here. And you probably saw where it's like .param, and all that. Oh, hello, welcome back. So the .param, this is our dynamic routing layer. This is allows us to like if we have a list that we want to show a specific list, we can do the dot list name dot whatever, right? So basically we're going over what I've been working on for the past 2 weeks, right? And I've been doing a lot of React routing stuff, and I abstracted it enough so it's like how I did it. So it's like a folder system or file system based routing, which is like this right here, right? I had to write it down because it was so confusing to write this, but basically it goes from like the folder stuff. It was extremely painful. It took me a whole week to get this all figured out. If you want to see how all like most of the routing logic, it is within this one function right here. And it basically sets it into like two different data structures. Oh, I can zoom back out. It basically sets it into like two different data structures. One for like the static page level, and then one for like would be like the encompassing route level. And that's all so I can have we'll go right here. That's all so I can have like slash pay like slash calendar slash like test. Make that bigger. That's also, I can just have something like that kind of page. And then if I really needed it, like if I needed some like dynamic routing, because like you have different types of lists, you can do like some dynamic URL. So I am using V. The bundler for V is Rollup. And how this like project kind of works, it will like right now it's using a web like React single page application. It'll bundle it all up into a like your basically like your basic spa page, and then compile it into like these different folders, which then compiles into a mobile app and a desktop app. And I did that like 3 weeks ago. So that way I don't have to deal with like all the weird app like mobile app shenanigans. Yeah, I used Webpack a long time ago, and I am staying far away from that as much as possible. Everyone that uses it just hates it. But yeah, so I did V is really nice because you can like do shenanigans. If I can find it. I think it was under page. No, it was here. Oh yeah, okay. You can like import a different like file. So I like that's yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be used if it was good, but you kind of want something to work. Like it just needs like having good defaults is such a nice thing, because it's the difference between working on getting it set up by an hour or like 20 hours, and you can do something else with that kind of time. But the one thing I did like about V, and I didn't know this before going in, well, I think this is more, yeah, no, this is V, is this like glob import, which you can like be like, I want this whole directory to be imported into this, and then format it into a map, which is how I got this like React router thing working. It's like, oh, okay, I see now. But yeah, this like sets it into like it creates a path, and then it'll try to like set it into like a record. I lied to you. How so? But yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot to remove those. Um, Thank you. I'll remove it right now. Neovim. Yeah, that was back when I first started streaming. Or not first, but like 2 months ago. But I'll put in a VS Code and I think I want to take a little break from NeoVim, just because like I was saying this like earlier. Yeah, I'm like 8 weeks in. I like with NeoVim, you can make it so specific, but the trade-off is it takes a lot of time to make it so specific. I can just like you can easily just go for the lazy and make it look like VS Code, right? Um, but then where's the fun in that? Like you're using NeoVim for the configuration, all the. I just want it. I want it so I don't have to think about what I'm doing. Because like the biggest issue I have with NeoVim is that there's like a learning curve. Yeah, I'll check your config. Yeah, there's like this learning curve where it's like the different the macros and stuff. So I was trying to like iron that out. So it's like more similar. You like get the functionality and all the like macros and stuff, but it feels like a text editor that you pull that off to the side. It feels like more of like a text editor that you get like VS Code was very easy to get into, right? You didn't really have to think because like it was. I'm just, sorry. I'm doing two things at once. It is just kind of like you know what it is. It's very intuitive. Whereas NeoVim is like I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta watch a couple of tutorials. And knowing me, I will like switch off and switch back on and not know, like have none of that, like anything memorized. So I'm trying to make it so it's just kind of like I can hop in and do stuff. And also I can share it with my friends or anyone who's like VS Code and scared of NeoVim, right? Like it's since like I changed out the HJKL, like oh, I have it right here. I changed out the HJKL like movement keys to the arrow keys because they can be like, hey, use the arrow keys to move. It's like it's easy, like it would be more intuitive for like someone who doesn't know the editor to use. All right, images. Let me check this. Yeah, but it's just I get why it's set up where it is, but I'm not after that like super efficient typing speed. I'm there for well, I use a trackball mouse. I'm there for like not using mouse to like kind of like that flow state kind of thing, where it's like I'm not thinking about how to do something like how to set a macro editor. It's just kind of like I can intuitively do that, and I think arrow keys are there. So, oh yeah, this looks really good. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, it's been an interesting thing to learn. I found a trackball mouse where it's like you're basically holding it sideways as well. It's like a it could be. Oh, is it? Oh, yeah. Uh, it could be that the monitor that you're using has like it's not. I don't want to say tint, but like there's like a setting that makes it more bluish or more like orangish. So it could just be like that monitor. Your monitor is just set a little too low, but it looks nice. Ah, okay. Yeah, I remember having to go through those issues. I upgraded my monitors not too long ago, but yeah, this I think they're using alpha.nvim to like display that, and I always found that fascinating. Oh, really? I gotta move over camera. Oh, okay. You have the tabs there. Where's the CPU temperature? Oh, it's up here. Oh, okay. That's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah. There was a while there I was so worried about my memory. So I don't ever do anything that warrants me needing CPU, like a temperature control. The most, but well, I should probably change that. I don't want anything that requires a CPU control indoors. It is also gets to 120 outside, so anytime I take out my phone. Yeah. Yeah, if you always have to monitor it, it's always good to have it like in the things that you're using, like the applications you're using, or like even in the like um the operating system UI. So yeah, like it's you can easily forget that and it'll get too hot and shut down that or makes everything go crazy. But and it oh, what's that there? All right. I don't think that's not too bad. Like you got your cut, you got your highlights. I think this is pretty organized. Yeah, got to do comments and all that fun stuff. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy at all. I mean, I've seen pretty bad configs, and this is definitely nowhere near like I think this is pretty good. Got your VS Code snippets. Yeah, you got your Lua init. Mapping song. Let's see. Oh, it's over here. Hey, you got your like diagnostic information. I think this is a little bit worse, but it's still not too bad. Like it's just different settings and like you have breakpoints. You have your debugger set up, which is I haven't even gotten there yet. So, or at least it seems like you have your debugger set up. So yeah, so yeah, you got DAP. It's just a bugger. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean the debugger is extremely. I find extremely hard to set up, just because I mean you're working through a different protocol, right? Your DAP. Let's see. That'll be here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I feel that. There's just sometimes it's like I mean sometimes you just have to leave it be for a while and come back with a fresh pair of eyes. So Yeah, you got your Lua line sections. I got this is where all your stuff is. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's just you're using oil. How is using oil? I was thinking about it, but I decided to do Neo Tree. Okay. So yeah, I have your. And you are also using the like default configs for Neo Tree or Envim Tree. So you got which key undo tree is really nice, really cool. That's really nice. Like whoever thought of that, it's like a lifesaver. Like every application that has auto like undo needs it. Okay. Yeah, I mean if it works, it works. That's just the benefit of having like good defaults is if they're like the only time you need to modify it is if it's something that you want out like unusually different, which not always happens. You got your dev icons. Are you using Harpoon? I I try to I'm kind of on the fence about Harpoon. Okay. Yeah, I don't have autocomplete set up on mine. Well, I did and then it broke. So I don't that yeah. Or yeah, so it's just like yeah, if you're not gonna use tabs then I feel like Harpoon would be the best the next the best way to like navigate through files. And like uh when using the Envim highlight colors, the CMP item abrib match does not work. The colors are the same for all letters, even the matching ones. Okay. And hovering the selected options, if it's a color, it will show as white despite being shown correctly, if not on hover. Hmm. Oh, on options? Yeah. This you talking about this one right here? Yeah. I I don't even know if like VS Code does that. Yeah, VS Code doesn't even do that. I just think it might. It's like it's one of those things like there's conflicting options, so the best option is to just go for the neutral color. Like in confirm, it can also be console, and those are different colors. Oh, like it highlights the CON. Okay, I that makes more sense. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Let me go switch back to over to your config. Yeah, they and I noticed in NeoVim they use like your if you want like anything to pop out or like have its own window, it's considered a different file. So it could be just targeting the wrong window. Hmm. Yeah, so to allow signals. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you'd fix that. I mean, it is your config. It's not like necessarily it doesn't really matter too much where it came from. Especially if it's like what you want, then I mean, I don't think it's like a bad idea to use it. There's been several times where I went to like Doom in Vim, or is it what's it called? Come on. Uh, yeah, Doom in Vim, and kind of like look through their configs. Yeah, that's one of the downsides, right, of not writing it yourself. But I mean, there's to a point where it's like, don't change what's not broken, right? So yeah, like I've been gone through this config several times trying to figure out how they did stuff. But yeah, no. But otherwise, your config looks great, and if it, especially if it works for you, it's that's what it should be doing, right? Oh, are you talking about? Yeah, yeah. It's just, I mean, that's I've used so many editors over the years as well. It's just like everything has like a really good side, but then you get like, oh, but I wish I had that from that editor. And I mean, NeoVim just kind of like, okay, if you can make it work, then you can do it. It's just the getting it to work kind of part. So yeah, the editor on the looking at it, the like the file explorer on the right. Oh yeah, was it Yeah, tree sitter is. I mean, that's one of the first things I set up, just because like it was like it's just basically a necessity for any like plugins. Some plugins don't even like a good chunk of plugins don't even work without it. So I so if here, let's see. I don't have my macros turned on, so I'm hoping that it doesn't show my show. It does. Let's see. VS Code there, and then I'll log in. Where's my login? Here it is. Yeah, if I am a big fan of the NetRW, like how it kind of works, where it's like it's not just on the side or whatever. You when you're interacting with your files, your focus is on the files. Kind of like it's like a change in flow. Oh, I don't have my computer is not on. That would explain it. I was going to show you, but I guess not. Like your flow is just not. It's just like a change in flow. So I like it how like NetRW conceptually works. It's just so clunky. Like there's a NetRW package which allows you to like add key bindings to NetRW. By P. Richard, and this was like really cool. Like it added like these icons and stuff. But if you wanted to do any like modification, like I want like date modify on there, it was impossible to do. No, I I feel like it's the least affected because all it's doing is transmitting text. It's not transmitting any like visual signals. So um and I think if you get any like a decent router, I mean I'm using so the way how my streaming setup works is I have my like hub computer can remote desktop like a remote into the computer I do all my heavy workload stuff. That way I if I break it, lose it, or someone gets into it, they're not accessing like my programming stuff and all that. Yeah. Huh. Well, so I think it took me a while for me to set up NeoVim to work across SSH because like the themes and stuff don't work. But like you also have to set up some of the stuff on one like some of the NeoVim stuff on the client side, the thing that's accessing the SSH server. But I mean, also if you have access to an Ethernet cable, mine's not going through Ethernet. It goes through or it doesn't go through Wi-Fi. It goes through an Ethernet cable. So that's why I don't have to deal with such as much of the latency. But if you are able to stream like Twitch, you should be fine. And the standards from the 90s. So I don't think it's like the latency is your issue. Oh yeah. compression algorithm could slow things down a lot. And I think, yeah, I haven't removed Xort either, so that could be doing something as well. Huh. Yeah. I don't know what it could be. Could be the, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it would be. But, yeah. Maybe. It could be, I mean, when, I mean, it can be like anything at at this like point, because I don't know, because if it is laggy, I'm pretty sure it could be like graphical issues on the computer, like client computer side too. So if it's, yeah, there's like 1,000 things it could be. Yeah. Well, I don't. So I don't. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. This I. Yeah. Right now, I'm trying to get a NetW system kind of working on my. That's kind of where I left off in my configs. I know of Nix. It's like one of my next like one of my next IT projects. I think I want to dive into. It's like it's one of those things. Like I really want to try it, but I would also want some like I don't want to just set it up, just kind of have it sitting there and not use it. So I'd also want like some other projects to like coincide with it, maybe like setting up a NAS or something like that. Yeah, go to sleep. Oh man, yeah, that's late. Hey, bye bye. Yeah, get some sleep. So, all right, let's close all that. Um, I think it's yeah. So it's been kind of get back what we were doing a bit earlier, like a bit earlier. Um, yeah, just kind of like been doing the routing stuff, and that's I mean we're talking about earlier. React routing is kind of crazy, so um, basically the result now is we get this. right? So you can get the params. So if you have two dots, then we get R and T. So yeah, there's not much. I mean, the routing's the only thing really I've worked on. I've trying to do more of a Tailwind kind of CSS style. So we add these micro classes in, and then if you look at here, I do like the effects with the space between vertical centered padding of a horizontal padding 10 pixels. So I wanted to build this out from scratch just because I think it'd be cool. I think it would be good to know. Here's like how the scroll bar works, and some font stuff. So yeah, got a little like how this work. Oh, that vertical bar. I mean, I'm only supporting up to 300 width, so this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I probably should fix that. But yeah, and yeah, we just got this. These are like your global app styles. So we got the layout, which I'm using a bunch of mixins to get the media tags, which might not be the best way to do it because you're adding this per mixin, but I think it's all right for how we're doing stuff here. Like it's just going to be used in the layout and maybe some components. Got our CSS reset here. I just grabbed this from the internet. It's not anything too different. I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing a glob import for our icon images. I do plan on changing this later, so this is kind of just like temporary code. Like literally, I have like a temp thing here. So if it doesn't exist, which by the way, like the little box that X's through it is called tofu, or it's like not even the X, it's like the little box when like a character isn't known. Tofu. That's the name of it, which is I love it. It's the best name ever. So we got these like link stuff back, link stuff too. Just so basically I'm trying to get it so it's like I'm not worrying about like connecting all the pieces. I can build a page real quick. Here's the components. Here's what everything links to. And then move on to the next one. So I'm trying to like increase going through like this process so I can increase like efficiency building this because I have multiple ideas, multiple apps I want to build. Like this finance app. This is how I do the financing stuff and this like time management where it's like more personable time or task management app, right? I like in the future I need to like since we're kind of like bundling it all together and then porting it over, I got to figure out a way to like kind of like do that port. I don't know how. Like I need to add that connection because like if we're on mobile, you got to like the web view data link, but on if through Electron on desktop with Electron, you have to do like a WebSocket. So yeah, I got to do that this week too, or in the future. Yeah, that's everything I've been doing with this app. As for future plans with the stream, I do want to do a bit more than just kind of like this review. I really enjoy like when people come over, kind of taking the time and talking to them. So that's been great. I do want to like encourage that more, and I also have a couple other plans. There, I want to do more like code pen stuff. So I've been, let's see, it's going to be up here. Let me pull up first. So yeah, so I have this repo where I can host static assets. And, I also need a login. I forgot to log into CodePen, so it's gonna be a little tough with that, but there you go. So this weekend, I'll probably just this week itself, I'll probably not do the app stuff. Do more of the design on the app. But I'm working on this kind of like template so that way we can do more coding, like design challenges. So the idea is we'll design it here, and we're just kind of do the same design system as this right here. But we'll design it here, and each page will be a new like challenge. So this will be like and the idea is that we have our static assets here. So we have our, like, we'll do like the Tailwind micro CSS here and like our components and stuff that we typically see more of. But a good example is we did this a while back on stream. It's kind of like, hey, we did a Mason layout for one stream, and I'm just want to get it to the point where we have more assets available, different types of assets, and kind of just getting that set up. So yeah, doing that. I tried out a different couple of like, I think the YouTube thumbnails are kind of mid, so I'm going to try to change those around, and maybe we'll start some vertical streaming too. So I want to do this. I don't know if it's going to be a segment of the stream, if I want to do streaming once a day, or I'm leaning towards that, or if I want to do more of a 2-segment stream. I'm leaning towards towards the multiple streams. I'm leaning towards the multiple segments so that we just kind of throw all the tech stuff together. I have, it's not here. Oh, wait. It is, so I have this. I'm trying to get this hooked up to my display capture card, so that way we can play some games. There's a couple games I really like that's kind of like techie resource management. So I want to get that kind of like going there, but it's been a little challenge for that too. So working on stream, I'm trying to get like things more settled and stuff. I was curious, tried the little AI, and it was awful, so I'll never do that again. I won't say never, but yeah, it's just kind of like I don't want to do that. Found it was too impersonal, and I was trying to do something that would be quick and realized usually I use the same thumbnails. So yeah, just kind of figure that out and go from there. But yeah, as you can see on our code pin, I don't have much. I mean, this is part of a paper I'm writing where it's like ADA, like for developers. It's mostly for work though, but it's not even correct. This has been a pain in the butt. But anyways, I'll do that on my free time. But I'm trying to like create times where I can do this kind of stuff. So yeah, hopefully throughout the like months going into 2025, we can get this figured and hopefully get into a more structured streaming style. So, but yeah, I'm gonna leave that off, and yeah, hopefully also one thing I did want to do is more article based like reading. So I'll see if I can grab some articles that we can go through as well, and create a schedule for that. But yeah, thank you for joining for those who did, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.